We've got a Dell Optiplex 790, Windows 7, Core i5. I did look these up and I forget what year they were. I think around 2012 again. Oh, that's interesting. Press on random things and things come apart. Oh, well, there you go. That's how you get inside it. What's it say here? Reg model DO3S, DO3S001, type made in Malaysia. Probably has all the safety marks. And we've got more Chinese writing, so maybe this is another import from that part of the world. Optiplex 790 SFF, if that means anything. Kind of a cool looking front on it, a bit different. I didn't really have much to do with Dell computers, but you did see them around from time to time. CD-ROM. Yeah, I kind of like the styling of it. I think these came out in different size cases in the same sort of style. Oh, hang on. Is that even plugged into anything? I assume that comes out somehow, but we shouldn't have some SATA cables or something there. What have we got? Yeah, look what's going on here. I think we've got all sorts of loose stuff. It looks like they were meant to go in there somewhere. Do we have a hard drive? Oh, there's a, yeah, okay, yeah, that's been unplugged as well. So that's what this is for. There's a hard drive going sideways that way under this aluminium bit. Interesting that someone's been dismantling this thing. That's the power. So where's the actual data cable? There is a cable jammed under there. I can see a few memory sticks. Someone's been at this. Maybe we do actually have to remove. Oh, do we have to take the front off? Oh, maybe, yeah, there we go. Oh, well, that's simple enough. Yeah, look at the dust in that. But no one's shocked to see dust in a computer. Oh, this whole cradle does something. I was going to say it lifts up, so maybe that's why someone's had it apart. That would make sense while these plugs are out of it. Do I have to press on anything there? They should just come out, shouldn't they? Yeah, there's our hard drive cable. So 3 sticks of memory. Do we have any leaky batteries or anything interesting? Probably not, but could have leaky caps if it's that sort of era. Looks a bit like someone's popped one of the memories out of it. Who knows? There's a micro under there somewhere, I guess. I can see, yeah, the sort of clamps that hold the heatsink on. Bit of copper pipe there. Heatsink there, and obviously under the fan. Completely non-standard power supply as you always got in stuff like Dells and Compacts and Hewlett Packards and whatever. Well, I guess we should see. Does that just squeeze and you pull it out? Oh, how simple is that? 400 gigabyte wiped. So maybe that's why they were in here. It's a Samsung. Can't say I've seen many Samsung hard drives, but 2007-09, so that's even earlier. So maybe this computer is earlier. I can't remember what it said, but I thought it was a bit later, like that Apple one. But that may well be the date this computer was put together. Oh, well, it looks like they've probably wiped their drive, which is what you should do. You've got to really wipe it if you want people to not be able to recover anything off it. The guy was telling me there's even a machine, or was a machine once upon a time, that you could actually get the platters out of a hard drive and read the platters, spin them up in this other device, and actually get the data off them that way. You know, for recovery purposes only, of course. But that's what they supposedly had available. So that's why the banks and stuff used to, around the scrap metal, used to make them pull the drives out and smash them with a blockbuster or something. Even that probably didn't bend all the platters and stuff, you might have still been able to get data off them. But once they got melted down in the iron alley, they wouldn't have been much good. I mean, some of these later drives, I think they got a glass platter so you could bust them, I guess, or just possibly big magnets on there. Or if you really want to be sure, just record a bunch of videos or something over until you fill the drive up completely and override everything, I guess would be a method for doing that. There's probably software that at least says it does that. But to be totally sure, can't beat the good old overriding everything. And even then, you may not be sure that you got everything. But it would certainly probably make it a lot harder to find anything. So that is that little thing. So there's a card being pinched, or at least the thing cover there. Oh, what's this? We've got a broken USB something. What is it? Oh, it's a Wi-Fi. Wireless USB adapter with, yeah, the back cover missing off it. Well, I don't think that's much good. Of course, we're going to need a keyboard and everything. That could be fun. Interestingly, I don't remember seeing a keyboard or mouse for this thing, but this has probably been retired a long time. Have I got a PS2 type keyboard? I don't know if I've even got one. I think I do have an old Microsoft somewhere. Oh, there's some more of that. I might have broke that at some point. Oh yeah, the actual board snapped in half, so yeah, didn't even notice that sticking out the back, so who knows whether I did it or it was previously done, but we don't have a cover here, so I kind of done it just now. Well, that's the end of that little device. Yeah, we've got a battery, CR2032 battery on the board. I guess should see if it even just fires up at least. How do we turn you on up there? Or not? There is an LED on the back. There's a little push button on there too. Don't know what that does. Doesn't seem to work. Do we have another power switch somewhere? There's bound to be one hiding. Maybe not. Or have I missed one that's... Let's see, I can't see any levers going into this thing. I mean, probably this era computer would have been just momentary switch type. Yeah. Oh, it looks like we've got a dead power supply. What was that? That? What the hell's that thing? Oh, was that the cover latch? Yeah, so unless they've hidden a power switch that I can't see, that bit comes out. There's definitely not a mechanical linkage to the front. I don't see any 240 volt connector coming out, so it's the usual ATX type power supply, I guess. Switched by the motherboard. I guess we can check if there's any voltages coming out of it. Well, the easiest thing to check, of course, is the drive connector. Though if it's not turned on, there won't be any voltage there anyway. It should be a 5 volt standby. I wonder if my tester will work on this. Probably would, if I can get that plug off the board, which is not going to be easy, I don't think. I have to take the power supply actually out. I think we're going to have to lift that up again. I don't know if I can do that. Oh, I had to take the front off. Shouldn't have put the front back on, should I? Get this out of the way. And then we can actually get to this power connector, get some wiring out of the way. There's our, is that another connector, or is it just another thing for the board? I don't think that's the standby, is it? It's an extra 12 volt connector or something on that one, the black and yellow. Oh man, that does not, that didn't give you much length on the cable. Gonna have to prise it with something, I think. Be careful of surface mount components and stuff you don't prise against the board. That is really jammed in there. It's starting to come. Doesn't help that the cables are so short, they're sort of pushing back on it, I think. Can't even plug my tester into it because it's got a non-standard bunch of connections. Well, I guess we can just switch it on with no load on it. They usually got resistors built into them. So that they don't blow up or anything. Now, which wires are weird colours? Orange. They're all red. So it looks like we've got a dead power supply. Oh, well, I don't think we're going to get much out of this thing. Looks like there's a little clip under there you press down. Maybe going to undo the screws as well. That could help. I get a feeling there's something like that. Undo the screws, press down, slide, and you get yourself a power supply. That's it. There we go. Still got one more plug to get out anyway, but let's see if we can at least physically get it out of the box. It's catching on. Oh, it's hitting us on its own connector. That'd be right. So just about got to scrap this thing to do much with it anyway. Now it's just cable ties catching on that little thin wire there. Thought it was actually cable tied to it. I've got to undo that connector. I'm going to pull it on at the same time. Is that actually power? Probably. Ah, there we go. Finally got enough room to get it out. Oh, let's have a quick look, see if we've got a blown fuse or something obvious, showing that we've popped some transistors or something, which is often the case in these things. Primary transistors blow up in them. Not always obvious why. Possibly because the customer switched it to 110 volt input on the ones with the switch, or something silly like that. I mean, they did kind of put the switches on where you could put your fingers around the back of the computer and accidentally flick the wrong switch or something. I think they were kind of recessed fairly well, but some people just couldn't help themselves and played with things like that, much to their own expense. They don't come out, just force the metal a bit to push them upwards. They usually bite again. Now this thing's potentially charged up in the main capacitors since it didn't fire up, so always be aware of that. Now there's a cable tie actually tied on there. There we go. Surface mount caps. Looks like, oh, there's our fuses on this board. Well, look at it. Ah, it's under foam, is it? Lovely. Not easy to measure then. But I guess I've got to seal that bit up pretty well, since I don't want anyone being able to poke something through the slots or anything into it. But of course it doesn't want to come out. I can see like a capacitor that's all glued, I think. Oh no, that's not part of it, the glued capacitor, but there's not very long wires on this. Oh well, we can see our fuse, ceramic fuse there, soldered to the board. And it's popped. So good news everyone, it's just a fuse. Which it never is. Well, I won't say it never is, it rarely is just a fuse, but never say never, because sometimes they do blow. There may be a surge protector in this or something, which may have popped it because something came down the mains. They can actually fail from metal fatigue, because each time the inrush current to these sort of, either a power transformer or a switch mode with a big cap in it or something, each time that gets a current into it, the fuse slightly flexes, heats up and maybe melts a little bit or whatever, or at least just flexes the wire, and over time that can make them blow. Can't say I've ever seen one that I could definitely say was due to that. Again, I'm being careful, most of what I'm touching is on the other side of this transformer here. Should be fairly safe, but and this primary bit here should be fairly safe. I guess we have got to undo that screw, no doubt. Holding a heatsink or something, yeah, that was, or an earth. Another one hiding there. But yeah, ideally you don't want to touch any heat sinks or anything, but can't always be avoided. I think that's part of what's holding it in there. Yeah. Oh, there's something silly like that. Almost need to pop that socket out, I think. I think we're actually loose, but we're not really loose. Not even sure why I'm bothering to look at this thing. I think we've got to unplug the fan. Will certainly help. Oh, that's it. That helped free it up a bit, but we're still glued or something here. They really don't want you fixing this sort of stuff. They put foam under there. Yeah, I've got the tape on the other side, so it might come off on a good day. But I don't want to be touching any of this stuff. I don't even want to be putting pliers on here, because that cap's charged up and I short out the wrong thing, will blow whatever isn't already blown in it. Yeah, but not. So yeah, not a design I like at all, because I'm sort of potentially shorting stuff out. I can't even get to that. Oh, maybe I can get to that cap now. So it's not going to splat. That's because the cap was charged. The fact the fuse is blown means the cap shouldn't be charged. So we're pretty right in this case, I think, but yeah, I do not like them. But what we do want to measure across the cap, well, we better check volts DC just to be safe. Unlikely in this case, but we're probably more likely to find a short circuit across it. No voltage, no short circuit. If this power supply didn't have a blown fuse, I'd be tempted to leave it off for a day or two before I even took this foam off, because you risk doing a lot of damage if you short that cap onto something the wrong thing. Get off me. Don't know if I really need to take any more off. Possibly not. The bridge rectifier there. That's always worth a check when you've got a blown fuse. They can go short circuit and they'll make short work of your fuse. No pun intended when they do. No, I'd say that's fine. Oh, shut up. What have we got? A pair of transistors, another pair of transistors, big diode, a diagonal, or almost diagonal there. I think it's across there maybe. Well, I say transistors, some of these could be diodes, they're normally not on the primary. That's that pair. There's another one at right angles here somewhere, these things. Well, everything measures okay. Maybe we do have a fuse. That might be a diode. Is that one of them? Yeah, it's a two-legged something, so it must be a diode. There's another little bridge rectifier there, I think. Or is it? No, it's actually a chip. Thought there might be one running secondary power supply. Normally they just use the one, but often there is a secondary little standby transformer. So the small transformer is one power supply, big one is the main one, small one's what comes on, and then the computer tells the other bit to fire up via one of these little opto couplers, most likely the ones attached to the big one, of course. Well, I'm not seeing anything obvious blown, so we may have to put a fuse in that, see what happens. Okay, so I've got to peel this back a bit, and there's a terminal there and there with the fuse. I think we'll unsolder the old one and stick a whole new one. We'll have to make one with leads on it basically. And I think we've got lead-free solder. Did they have it that early? Possibly. Maybe it's just the tip needs a bit of a tinning. Could be that it's got glue and muck all over it from this stick-on foam stuff. Does seem a little hard to melt. Turn the iron up a bit. It does look a bit dull, so I'm guessing lead-free. That didn't do a very good job. Probably should remove this foam completely, but then you've got to mess around and try and stick it on again, so I'm just going to peel it and then poke it back in place. One end's at least is loose. Yeah, we got it. Let's see what it is, probably 5 amps or something. Knowing these things. That's 6.3 amp. Doesn't actually say T for slow blow. T50 volt at 6.3 amps. Just so I happen to have a 5 amp, or should be a 5 amp, better double check. It was in the 5 amp drawer. 250. Yeah, 5 amp with pre-soldered leads, so I must have used that in something like this in the past. So usually these that you need leaded fuses as such. Guess they don't like people replacing them is the idea. I don't think it's just because they're too tight to put a fuse holder in there. But we're going to spread these out a little bit further. Let's just guesstimate what the spacing is. Pretty close, maybe a little bit further. I think it'll go in far enough. Probably should really use a ceramic one so it can't explode, because these glass ones can explode and put glass fragments all over the place. Pretty rare, but usually they just kind of shatter. They get a vaporizes the metal inside and breaks the glass and it all falls to bits, but it doesn't usually go flying as such. But of course you don't want bits of metal covered glass inside your equipment. We can probably plug that in like that and just see if it goes bang, I guess. Hopefully it was just one of these metal oxide varistas, cop something. It's the same, it's so hard to get to them because I wouldn't mind measuring them. But normally if they're dead, you'll get like a burnt mark somewhere on the circuit board, whatever. There's something pretty obvious to show that it went splat. We checked the bridge rectifier. There is another MOV type thing there. It's got a little bit of black stuff, but I think that's just a coating of dust. All you're going to do is plug it in. We don't have a voltage selector switch. Make sure nothing's shorting on anything. Get a bit further away. And absolutely nothing happened, which is probably a good sign. Just be careful what we're touching here, but no light, no nothing, so it's still dead. But at least we don't have a blown fuse, I don't think. Whether we have any voltage, I might just have a quick look what the filter cap's doing, because that can be fairly diagnostic of power supplies. Nothing on it. I can oh, something's smoking. What was that? It actually came on. Strange, didn't do anything. Put my meter there, as soon as I touch my hand near it, it starts arcing and carrying on. But was that because I'm shorting something? I don't think so. Oh, is it that big capacitor or something? I think it was something down around that blue capacitor there. There was like a burning, arcing kind of sound. I mean, if a fuse is gone, there's usually a good reason for it. Why did having my multimeter on there make any difference? Did it have no difference? Did we blow the... Oh, I better check whether we'd blown the fuse in. Well, let's go across the filter cap. It seemed to have the 400 odd, 300 and something DC. Yeah, 313. No sign of... I wouldn't be surprised if that's running. What was arcing? I don't think I was shorting anything. The only thing really would be this heatsink, which probably isn't connected to anything anyway. I don't like having these things in bits like this. Maybe we'll let the rest of the smoke out of it, whatever it was. So maybe there is something blackened around that cap. I can definitely see a bit of a black. Now I better check. I think the filter cap in this discharges, which suggests the power supply is good. Yeah, if the voltage goes away, like I say, it's diagnostic because it usually means the power supply is a runner. Most of the time they will discharge themselves. I can see sort of some blackish stuff on there, but definitely don't touch this. I shouldn't even have it plugged in at all, because if we touch the neutral we may pop the earth leakage. But make sure you turn it off at the mains. That heatsink's potentially live. Make sure the cap has discharged itself, because these can be dangerous little things. Oh, how weird. It arced and then it came good again. That could be a bad solder joint, potentially. Pretty unlikely in these, but how weird. See, the problem is if I put it all back together, whatever it is probably going to arc up again. Very weird. Oh, well, if I keep playing with it, the more I get near it, the more likely it is to blow up. Nothing. Still don't know that we've got any outputs. Not looking promising. No, I think it's still dead. Definitely got it plugged in and on. Yeah, what a weird one. I think that was ground anyway. Yeah, I don't know if that green light's meant to come on. I would suspect it probably is. So we've got nothing. Let's check our filter cap. Still got voltage. Yeah, 313. So this little transformer, wherever it is down there, should have a pretty horrible thing to work on, I must say. I've got to watch for other filter caps. I think this might even have a little one there. This should have a diode, possibly what's on that heatsink, or is that for the other? Yeah, it might be that. Yeah, they're the ones for the other one, I think. Is that some sort of thermal fuse or something, or just more diodes? We should get a voltage out of that across one of these caps here. Yeah, it comes out of that transformer, 3 pins, that's your diode. That's your capacitor there, that should be your standby voltage. And we got nothing. No surprises there. So have we blown something else? That's our main filter cap, check it again. 313. That should feed this little chip. Which one's the negative? That'll be this big pad here most likely. It should come through the primary here somewhere. And if that's not there, then we know something's probably up. Is it just those 3 pins? Oh, there's another one there. That would be... No, well, it should be on 2 pins at least. So that's our B+. Looks like it comes across here. It's there, so we've got a fusible resistor or something there. Let's again check that it definitely went away. Because otherwise it's going to be right across whatever that component. Oh god, it's that fusible thing there, probably that blue thing. I don't know, is that it? No, I'm not sure. There's bloody glue all over. Oh man, something doesn't look the best down in there. So it probably has fried something. I hate it when they put glue all over everything. They just don't want you to fix this stuff. That's why you don't buy Gateways and Compacts and Hewlett Packards and stuff. Because they really want to sell you a new power supply, which, if it was a reasonable price, it'd probably be the best option. Just replace it, rather than trying to mess around with this stuff. But they probably wanted half the price of the computer for a new one. Certainly by the time you paid someone to install, and if you had to do that. Something looks definitely... Well, I won't say definitely burnt, but blackened and stuff around there a bit. Maybe it's just dust build up. I think I might need a knife. And of course, once you get all this glue off, you may not be able to read a thing anyway because you've scraped all the component values off because it was attached to the glue. Yeah, I think we've got a burnt fusible down in there. So maybe the fuse blew because this little chip blew. I don't think that's where that arcing sound came from, but yeah, there's our little, I mean 1 ohm or something's probably enough, good enough to at least test it. We can measure across that filter cap anyway, but it might explain why I couldn't measure anything short, is because that's open circuit. Yeah, it's just a, well, mostly still attached to glue, but I think it's a bit blackened under the glue, but can't really see anything. So let's go to that where are we? Secondary of that, I guess if we go to ground, so the other side of that fusible resistor where it's cooked, which is this pin here, would be like the collector of the transistor, which of course is in the chip. Doesn't measure dead short. Where's that little chip? Does it look like it's blown? They are common, those horrible little 4-pin, but that's the little chip. They are the sort of things that usually blow their top or something obvious. If often you just find bits of the chip package floating around if they've gone splat. There's no sign of burning there. So do we have to put another resistor in, or not a fusible, I guess. I can solder a fusible across there and see. Well, I've got some old half-watt 0.39 ohm, that'll do. Oops. I've got one with short leads, that's even better. Still some fresh ones in there. Can't remember where I put my fusible resistors. They're around here somewhere. But yeah, between glue and stick-on foam, they really decided not to let us do much, but we can put that in, and if it smokes, that chip's probably shot. Maybe that's what went splat when we put a new fuse in. I don't know. I didn't really see where it came from. It looked more like it was around the power area there away from this stuff, but these power supplies can waste a lot of time and you still don't get them going if you're not careful. So I guess people are going to have to start fixing these things one day if they want to keep these old retro PCs going. So I'll get ready for flash and bang. Oh yeah. That chip's probably shot, I'm guessing. Something on the other side of the board certainly went splat. Did it blow our fusible? I think the smoke came out of it. Yep. Just again, always, even though you know it won't be there most likely, well, the fact it's blown a resistor, but always check your filter cap. Unplug it, check your filter cap. Did we get any black marks out of that chip? I guess one thing I should have done is made a note. Oh, it says a black mark there now. That wasn't there, so it's spewed. Most likely spewed its guts out, that chip. Oh yeah, she's blown a hole in it proper now. Yeah, that's definitely blown a little bit of a hole in the top of the chip. Sometimes that's what you've got to do to find what's faulty. But you should always, one mistake I just made is always, if you can still read the chip, make a note of what number's on it before you go to that and do that. TNY280. So it's a TNY280PG, I think. Letters may matter, may not on the end. TNY280PG or P0. I think that's the number. A unknown chip manufacturer. 1170 on top of that. 87914E on the bottom. But yeah, that TNY number should be it. I think it's a 5-pin. It's one of those, 7-pin. One of those 8-pin packages with a 1 pin missing. And they were, yeah, little mongrels of things for blowing. Like I say, often the first thing you know is you find half the top of the package blown off somewhere. Then you got to hope to hell you can actually read what the number was. Maybe I should look at finding one and see whether we can get this thing going. I think this will be a project for another day. But yeah, they had those sort of chips in set-top boxes and all sorts of things, and they like to behave pretty much like that one. So I might just write in there that it was a 6.3 6.3 amp fuse. If I do get back onto this, I'm not sure I will bother, but if those chips are available cheaply, it might be worth just seeing if we can get the thing resurrected. I doubt these computers have much value. Maybe in another 20-30 years they will. I guess if no one saves any of them and they all die of that, then they will definitely be valuable if they still run, because they all would have been chucked out. But I think we'll just put all the bits in a bag. I can leave the old fuse in there too, I guess. And we'll shove that inside there and yeah, decide whether to do anything with that. At least we've got some free fireworks out of it. But it's often the case with those chips, they look fine, but you've just got to let a bit more smoke out to prove beyond any doubt, because you measure them and you can't get a static short test or anything to show anything. Okay, I've got another one of these chips. I think the letter on the end is different or something, but what did I find? There was some range of different things. I think it's a PN instead of a PG, but I think I did find that it was rated the same or higher or something. Some of the letters are package type, some of the wattage rating. Quite a bit of info on that chip online if anyone wants to look up a little switch mode chip. But we do have a blob of glue here too. Might need to find a screwdriver. And I'm tempted to change, it looks like only one electrolytic capacitor near it, which I just checked, 0.67 on the ESR meter, so it's probably fine, but I had a set-top box with a similar chip to this, and it died one time after the power went out and came back on. I checked the cap, it was fine, so I think I got about 5 chips off eBay for next to nothing, so I had a few spares anyway. Put another chip in, ran fine, and then when the power went off again, blew the chip again. So I changed the few electrodes that I had around it, and it was fine after that. Still going to this day. That DG Tech or whatever it is, I've got on the test bench here. So sometimes even if the caps seem to measure okay, it's worth replacing them. I of course can't see what value that is. They always seem to make them face the opposite way to where you can read them. Now let's get the old chip out. Now I've got to replace that fusible resistor. I think the main fuse is still good. It's possible something else is out here, because an open circuit resistor or anything can cause these things to blow up. And it does happen in switch modes. I've had a few difficult to repair ones. Some that other people have had a go at and didn't check the obvious at the end of the day, which is check your resistors are all intact. Very rare they ever go, but it does happen. Even with the lower value, lower K sort of value ones. Normally you just expect the mega ohm ones and high Ks to go open. But you think after someone put new parts in something and it blew them all up again, they might cotton that it's worth checking the resistors if you can't find anything else obvious, but not everyone does. So maybe we should check a few resistors around this thing. Pretty unlikely, but oh, that's right, there's another pin on these, isn't there? It's a 7 pin. Of course they put one separate so you don't see it. It doesn't help that I haven't seen this thing for over a week now. So that's the old one, which is the PG 280, TNY 280 PG, I think it was. I guess I better check the dry joints on this thing. Looks pretty good, it's all lead-free solder, so it looks a bit... What the hell's on that resistor? Ew, what is on that resistor? Ew, there's some goo in this thing. Oh, that would be... Oh, that's that... That's that bloody horrible foamy stuff we pulled off. Why is the goo stuck to things? But that's the glue off that. Again, like I say, that's what happens when you don't play with one for a while. You forget everything you learned about it, but last time. 150 ohm resistor, we've got 0 ohm stuff. Everything looks pretty good. I might just check a few of those little surface mount ones. Sometimes these chips just fail because they fail, but often there's something else related to semiconductor failures like this. And assuming we don't know, there could have been some external cause, pretty unlikely. What's that, 30k? It was a 30 something, 303, I guess 30 and 3 zeros. That's not a resistor, I don't think, that was a diode or something. 3k, there was a few things around the 3 mark. 17k, is that a diode? Or is it a capacitor? It measures like a diode that way. It's probably a diode. 302, that's a 20k, which I think measured 16. Some little thing there. Oh, that's a jumper, I think. Yeah. $473, that might be a startup resistor or something. That's a 47k, I guess. It's measuring 28k. Not sure if that's good or bad. Is that a transistor or something there? Don't know if that chip runs a FET or whether the FET's built in. I think it was built in. They probably joined together those two pins. Chopper transformer. We've got our obviously resistor in, which we know we've blown. 47k there. I think most of this other stuff is 0 ohms. What's that thing? 21k. That's a diode, I think. As long as it isn't short, it's probably alright. Jumper, jumper, jumper. Diode. Not measuring much there. Oh, there we are. So there's only that electrolytic capacitor, which I think is there. Let's pull it out and see what it is. Might just change it out of habit. Is this in the bad capacitor era? It probably is. Sometimes they just shift value slightly, so they measure what you'd call within range. So we've got negative inwards, and it is a Tycon 63100, and I think I'm out of 63100s, of course. Well, I've got one left, so I'm going to put a new one in there anyway. Yeah, negative inwards. It's only a vent, probably not a high temp one or anything exciting. Oh, there's a couple of diodes there too, we better check while I can see them. Should be good, I think. Is that the other one? Sort of. Going that way. As long as it's not shorted, I'm happy. So it could have been a chip fail. There's another little diode because there was one actually under the cap. That'd be a little Zener or something. That's the sort of thing that could die. Little low signal one right there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so one I think was there. One across there. And that's our blown resistor. We'll put the same value back in because I've got them out in the open, so that's what it's going to get. I'd be better off using a low series resistance, high ripple current kind of cap rather than just that random thing. But that's what we got, so that's what we're going to use. Hopefully this whole thing doesn't just go bang again, but there's a chance it will. That's why you check as much as you can, in the hopes of avoiding a repeat. But with switch-on power supplies, you never can tell 100% what's going to happen. And we'll have to see if we've got a dummy load on this rail. I mean, it could be something went open circuit or something. Someone unplugged it. Who knows? Normally, like I say, got load resistors, but if they're of a design where they can blow like that, they normally put one in, but doesn't mean every manufacturer did, especially when you get this Dells and gateways and stuff. Not always the greatest quality stuff. They're built to a price. So every part saved is a few cents in someone's pocket, I guess. Or the shareholders or someone, but they do tend to skimp a bit, in my experience, which is why they can offer you really good deals on their computers, which for a lot of people probably suits them fine. If you're buying hundreds of these things for some enterprise, I think you're probably happy about getting a good deal more than anything else. What do we got here? Lucky resistor hole. Glue everywhere. There it is. Oh no, is that it? I don't think that is the resistor hole. It's just a black mark on the board. There it is. So yeah, this is very annoying when they put this glue all over everything. I'm not sure it's meant to... I mean, big capacitors and stuff, fair enough, probably minimises the risk of damage in transit if they really get thumped. Not likely to break the solder joints or something. But yeah, the rest of it, I can't see any reason for that much glue. Be nice to hear from whoever in the factory designed these things and told them to put all that in there, whether it's just vibration sort of protection for transit or whether it's something else. I'll put our fusible in and we're basically ready to go, I think. Oh, I haven't put the chip in. Let's clean up around the chip. Won't do much without that in there. We'll just get a charged filter cap and nothing else. Pins are a little bit bent on this thing. Probably in the post it was just like that in an envelope, which is fine because you want to save on postage. I think this thing was only like $1.50 plus $3 postage or something silly like that, so it was cheap. If it goes bang, it's not the end of the world. I should have left that capacitor out and put this in first, I guess. Would have made life a little easier. Make sure I've got pin 1 the right way though. You can't go wrong with these because of the missing pin on them. Maybe that's why they have a missing pin on them. I don't know. Help get them on the board the right way around. Of course it's gone in on an angle. And then I'll try and get these pins in their holes, which are a bit wide when they're on an angle. There we go. Yeah, should have left that capacitor off the board. Make putting this in a lot easier. Just double check the soldering, make sure it looks like there's no shorted pins, shouldn't be. Problem is the shiny flux looks similar. Yeah, that all looks good. So let's see, where's our... So that's the primary side, that's the secondary, and that's our main diode. Can we work out if this thing's... Well, where's the filter cap on it? Probably this big cap here. And I'm on the wrong measurement. Let's see, do we have resistance across there? If it's gone right up. No, I don't think it does. And it's got opto couplers that might shut it down. Yeah, it comes in that cap, so I'm guessing that's the B+. That is probably, is that inductor? I'm seeing there's one side of the inductor, there's the other. Yeah. Helps if you put it on beep. So this is our 5 volt. Oh, it comes into this other board. Oh, that's fun, isn't it? What is all that? Is that a bit of a dry joint there? Don't know, possibly. It almost looks like that pin there's, which might actually be the one it's hooked to, looks a little dry maybe. It's possible fracture there. That end one didn't look the best either. Yeah, that's going to cause it to blow up, but you never know. Let's get rid of that muck. And it went to the other end pin. Does it go anywhere besides that board? It seems to just go into that board. That'll be some of our big output wires where they're soldered in, yeah. Now, I don't know what pin on this particular power supply. Well, 5 volt OVP, overvolt protection, or is it just overvolt something? Yeah, I don't know if I need to plug this into the motherboard to be safe. PS on A, so that green wire is probably the one that comes back to turn it on. So look at that reset button thing. I wonder if this blue wire or something is our 5 volt. Doesn't really say. So that comes in on that N pin. So that big pad there, yeah, impossible to see really. I guess I could put a dummy load across that, even if I just put 100 ohms or something across that capacitor. If it's too much it might shut the supply down, but at least it'll stop it ramping up continuously until it blows or something. Where's my discharge resistor? 120 ohms. I think to be safe I'm going to put a load on it. It may well just go splat as soon as we plug it in. Would not surprise me one bit if it does. But on a good day, maybe I should put an LED on there, but I guess we'll soon know if it's doing something or not. That LED may well come on. At least we know there's not a short there. God, that fluke's always unwilling to measure anything until it's messed around a bit. Okay, we'll put an IC cable in. Now, do we have like load resistance on the other ones? Possibly not, but if this thing, we should go into standby basically, and maybe that LED will come on, so it's only the standby mode we're looking at. So we don't need to worry about the rest of the power supply unless that bit works. Then we can worry about load on power supply. Okay. Just trying to get more of it on camera, so if it goes splat, at least we'll get that out of it. Get to see that. I think we're safe to plug in. Well, it didn't go bang. That's something, I guess. Don't see any light there. Ooh, we have 5 volts. So that's a good sign. I won't run it with that load for too long. I won't turn it on any more than that. I think that's safe. Well, put it this way, if it still doesn't work, I'm not going to do any more with it, so I might just put it back together so I'm not dealing with this mess, and there's no chance of shorting it out. I'll let this foam all become glued to itself. Never a good idea, but what do you do with this stuff? I want to try and put it back in place. And again, check your filter cap before you touch any of this stuff, because it may be charged up. It shouldn't be, but we do not want to handle any of that, because 400 odd volts or 300 whatever at high current is pretty nasty if it bites you. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put that foam back on. I think it's got that plastic stuff over it. So where's that filter cap? It's the big blue one there. Looks safe to me. So with a bit of luck we can actually fire that computer up and at least see if it does anything. Now, I've completely forgotten what went where. Did this sit on there? I would assume it does. Again, it matches these corner holes so far. I think it must have gone, that's right, I had fun jiggling this out of here, didn't I? Because of the glue and whatever. Does that go around that little cutout there? I bet it does. And the fan to go back in. Yeah, I'm not sure really what the purpose of that foam actually was. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, it goes around this little tab where the side of the case has been pushed in, so that must be right. I've got to screw this back down, get that out of the way, and put that earth, I think, went on there. What did I do with the screws out of it is the next problem. Did I put them in a bag somewhere, or did I forget to put them somewhere? I've forgotten. Yeah, inside the computer, so that's, I can't remember which one went where, but we'll work it out, I'm sure. Don't need the fuse anymore. Black ones, I think, are outer case screws. Will we work it out? That looks like possibly an earth. As long as we put a screw in each hole, that'll do. That's the earth one on the actual case here. That one's marked as earth, so there must have been two screws. They're smaller ones, I think. These things maybe. I've got 4 or so. Well, they might hold. Yeah, they hold all the board down, I think. That would be them, I think. I certainly don't have the memory for this sort of thing anymore. Partly because I don't really take that much notice of it anymore, because it's not my everyday thing to be doing. Are there any more on that board? I get a feeling I had another screw somewhere. It's got little clips holding the board on the other side, so maybe not. Must find my shorter screwdriver, but it never ever sticks around for 5 minutes. And I've completely forgotten where the reset switch went. Was that outside the thing somewhere? Good. Let's see, that goes, obviously those come out there. The earth must go under that particular bit. Yeah, I'd totally forgotten where that went. Oh, I know. It should have gone down under there, shouldn't it? That should have been... What does it screw under? Oh, that. Oops. Oh, well. 2 screws and hopefully we can get it in there. Does that just slide under? Not going to be that easy, is it? there's all sorts of stuff under there, so that probably should have... Can we get this up? Or does it go on the other? It can't go on the other side. Well, that's handy. Or can it? Because there's a couple of wires going down that are going to be in the way. Yeah, I never liked working on these things, or I generally didn't, because of this sort of messing around, and not like the standard ones. I don't know how that could have possibly got to the other side of the cable, but it sure seems like it did. The black wires there. It must go down where I've got it. There's always something that is a real pain. And that board just has got wires holding it, so it doesn't really have any play. I should really just unplug the board and throw it away, I think would be the easy option. Because I don't even know what it actually does, or whether it's of any value, but... yeah, that just does not want to go back down in there. The bloody switch is catching on the metalwork. That must go down under that heatsink on that red rectifier or whatever. Got a metal tab here, probably sticks out the vents or something, does it? Well, that was more difficult than it needed to be. There we go, we've got it in place. We must have some sort of countersunk on there. So a couple of little pins to hold it, and I was just, don't know, a bit of metal pressing against there. So now I should be able to drop this in on top of it, and it's wiring. Got some other wiring here is a little reluctant to really, I think that varistor should go behind that. They sure jammed it in here. Yeah, not a very fun thing to work on, unfortunately. But we've got that. Ah, now my earth wire, of course, is probably moved to the wrong side as well. Because I don't think that's meant to come out the other side of that board somehow. That needs to go under there. Well, all we're getting is a flashing light. And 1 and 3 are flashing up here, whatever they are. Flashing standby light. It does turn off if we hold it. Can force it off again, so the motherboard's at least telling the power supply that. Whoa! And there she goes. It was definitely running a bit noisy in there, so she died again. Oh well, it was worth a try. Interesting, it wasn't making any weird noises when I didn't have a load on it or didn't fire up the main power supply. But we definitely just blew a fuse again. I wonder if we blew our chip again. I guess we might have a quick look and see. Or is there some other issue in this thing? And that's why you generally don't waste your time trying to fix these things, because that's usually the kind of results you get. But sometimes you get lucky, sometimes not so much. Hopefully now I can at least unplug this thing easily. It doesn't want to slide though. Oh, we've got that other connector, haven't we? What a pain. Can we get it out? Well, that's still in there. It does not want to come out now. Oh, wait, I think we had to press something, didn't we? Oh, yeah, there's a tab. That'll help. Why does it want to come out? think what we'll do is just dismantle it in situ, if I can. But it's never good when a power supply makes weird noises like that. You really shouldn't hear the things running. But whether that's something in the motherboard, I mean the voltages were there, but it doesn't mean it's not pulling excess current or something. I don't think the thing was getting particularly hot, it doesn't feel hot. Or there's some other component out somewhere. I wonder if we blew our chip up again. Where is it? I can't see it. Oh, down in there. I think we blew the top of it. Can we find it? Oh, here we go. Yeah, we blew the top clean off it. So that's interesting that it died once the power supply fired up. So we had standby, seemed to be alright. So could something in the standby circuit actually be pulling too much power or something? Not impossible, and it was flashing that light. It's one thing I didn't actually check is, because I still don't know exactly which connector it is here, whether one of these pins, whether that 5-volt line was being pulled down too low. I mean, there could be a shorted cap or something in here. But anyway, it proves you can at least get them going for a few minutes. But that is, yeah, often what happens. They blow the top clean off the things. And that's the end of that. And if that bit gets lost, you're off on stuff because you don't know what it actually was. So what was that? And I see a TCY TNY. Might as well just write it in here. TNY not 180. What was it? 280, I think. 280PN. It's possible that chip isn't up to the job, but I think it, from what I could find, it's the equivalent. But that's the end of that poor old thing. It looks like we've got a piece to e-waste. Unless anyone wants anything off this thing, let me know. But otherwise, I'm just going to scrap it, I think. I guess the hard drive might be worth... What size was it? Might be worth pinching, but only just. A few RAM sticks in there. That's actually a DVD-ROM. So slightly better than just a CD-ROM, I guess. And it was 400 gigabyte. Well, I'll pinch that. And there's a cradle for it. How does that come off? So it actually has little pins that go into the drive. That's kind of cool design. So you just pull it apart and the pins go in the screw holes. Not that I really need a drive, but occasionally they're handy for backing a bit of stuff up on, or putting in a PVR or closed circuit TV PVR or something to replace a faulty drive on one of those. But that's pretty much the end of that poor old thing. So a bit of fun trying to get one going again, but this is the kind of stuff you get with them. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And there goes a whole $5 worth of IC I wasted. But worth a try just to see if it's something simple. Just trying to think what else could cause that. I guess we didn't actually check the filter cap and stuff, but I don't think that was the issue. But maybe there was a bit of ripple or something once we had full load on it. So could we have a faulty main filter cap or something? Not impossible. Could be something's overloading it on the other side. Not sure with those opto couplers whether they sense it and just shut down or whether it can do that. Yeah, there's a lot of, and they're really complicated by all this extra circuitry, so it doesn't just come straight out the power supply, out the plug, and it's nice and easy to follow. It goes into that other little board and stuff, and that's where I sort of usually don't bother with them, because you've got to do a bit of work. I don't know if there's any service information for these sort of things available. Not normally, I don't think, but maybe these days someone's leaked it out there somewhere with a bit of luck. But again, I doubt this computer's any good for anything much. Maybe in another 30-40 years it might be collectible, but I can't imagine it's worth a lot at the moment. But like I say, if anyone needs any bits out of one of these things, then they can certainly be saved. Otherwise, yeah, I think she'll just go in the e-waste as is, because I don't really want anything out of this. I've got the drive out of it. Maybe we should be scrapping heat sinks and stuff. Bit of copper, a bit of aluminium. I doubt it's worth the bother, really. I used to keep a few of these fans and stuff, but never end up using one. I always thought they'd be good for some project. I guess I could pinch the 100mm one, but it's so dirty, I don't think they cost much new. There's a bunch of LEDs there, aren't there? So what they all show, I guess we could put this thing up to the light and see. That's the hard drive light there. I can see a hard drive symbol. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all there is. Oh, that's that mystery solved. So maybe put those screws back in the bag and chuck the rest of this away. And that's all we'll do with that one. So thanks for watching.